Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you're all having a spectacular day. And today I wanted to look into Germany back in the day, Germany in the 1700s, and basically focusing on all the star forts that were all across Germany. And again, star forts are something that has been hidden from us. This is really the way that the cities of the old world were set out. They were all star cities as far as we can tell. And the further you look back into the past, and we're only talking a few hundred years, you'll find these things everywhere. We still, have the remnants of these all across the earth, and of course, some are still in pristine condition. Others are buried. And it's strange because it seems that, some in Europe, France, Norway, Denmark, Scandinavia kind of area, Belgium, they have, almost perfect star forts left, and the cities, where other places they seem to, if you look at the Americas, the USA, they've literally bulldozed them all and, just built on top of them. And this is part of the story, right? This is them creating the narrative that, the USA is the new world, right? And, civilization, Western civilization sprang up in Europe. And so that's why they have to have all the star forts and the tech still there. And of course, in the USA, they destroyed all, but, they couldn't destroy all the buildings inside. Because as you see in this picture here, like this is our star fort. We can see the wall here, but, the star cities, that they are all the buildings as well. It's not just the wall. So we still have this stuff. Like this is the 1700s in Germany. This is Dresden. There we go, guys. This is Dresden. We all know of Dresden. This is it back when it was fully functioning in its glory days. And you can just see these, spires, domes, just everywhere, big cathedrals, Antiquitech, the whole lot. Alright, so let's jump into it and have a look at Germany back in the 1700s. And here we go. So this is our book, the Galerie Agréable du Monde. Empires, republics, provinces, villas, fortresses, rivers, ports, campaigns, bits and pieces, pictures around Germany. And we have this little pic to start with. And we have a strange old angel-looking man, and he's serving as a table so that this person can write some spells. Look at what this lady's holding. What is this? She's holding, it's like a dome, but there's people inside. There's a king in there with a crown, and he's holding a scepter. And it looks like they're in, some kind of glass container. Here we have our, Freemasonry implements, our globe. And again, when you look at these globes, none of the land masses seem to match. And over here again, we have Atlas holding up the earth. Now, Atlas, they tell us he holds up the earth, but actually in antiquity, the actual story, he was holding up the heavens. And if you see the original pictures of him, he holds up, it's like a sphere, but it has a ring around it, like a ring around it with the star signs on it, the 12 astrological star signs. So yeah, it's not actually the world that he's holding up, but look at this. I mean, they're just trying to make it all world, all globy, and they've trapped someone inside there. Pretty telling, really, isn't it, that picture? Alright, so someone's been trapped inside a snow dome. Alright, so this is basically, Germany. So we have down here, no date. In here we have some people who have come along. This lady's drawing a star, a circle. Have our globe here that looks very much like the Death Star. This lady's hugging the globe. We've got our harps. Oh, this lady, look at that. She's looking at a mask of herself. Is that the reflection? We've got people writing books, playing music, doing their bits. Got Pegasus here. He's done. He's like, I'm out of here. A couple of crowns with our holy hand grenades, some swords. And this kind of stuff is kind of the symbolism for, they've taken over this territory. And of course this is in not English, but you can see how built out this place is. Like all these are cities, and you can see big cities with spires, domes, and big cities with towers and spires all over the place. Look at them all. So look, this one's up on a hill, looks a bit buried. So this is what we're going to look at, the provinces of Germany. And Germany back in the day was called Gothia, and this is, where we know that the people who think they're the ruling family, the royal family, are the Saxe Gotha Coburg. So they basically went in and just stole the name of Germany. And that's kind of what I'm going to get into over the next couple of videos, is how there was a civilization that was north, big tall people, blonde and red hair, blue and green eyes, the story we've heard lots of. And these people came from a place called Frisia, or Frislandia, and we've all heard of that. It's one of these disappearing islands, it sort of appears, disappears, then it's part of the mainland Denmark, then it's an island again, and it's just a very strange story. But when you can find information on it, it's looking very much like they were, the root race, shall we call them that, who had all this tech to build all these cities. Maybe they did build them all, maybe they passed it on, but at some point they got taken over. And I'll get into that as well. We've actually got the story of how it happened in a book that I will, get into in the future. Alright, so here we have a star city, Strasbourg maybe, and again, star city. Huge buildings. I mean, look at these. These are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-story buildings, and look at the size of this. Just in the middle. And this is something I've kind of been thinking about, because you see this everywhere, right? These are all the same size, and then you have these giant buildings popping out. And they're always, cathedrals or certain types of buildings, aren't they? Are they, what I'm thinking, were they made giant size for big people, or was it just a way to make the machine bigger? So you get more power out of it, like a pump. If you make a pump bigger, you can pump more water, right? I don't know, just a thought. What do you think? But yeah, so here we have, the domes, we have the star fort, we have the canals going around, bridges across here, just completely built out. And then in the countryside we have all the crops and everything. So they had this, sorted out. But the other thing is, look at this, it's completely built out to the edges. Like, you can't fit any more else in there. They've started building out here, and they tell us this is a fort, and they've even got little cannons here. Now, what could these cannons really do? They could kind of defend this corner. Maybe they could blow up their own houses over here, and that's it. You come down here to an entranceway. We've got level land. It looks like you could get in there fairly easily, and there's no defense, no cannons. So this whole story about, star forts, is really just more of the facade. They were not forts. Here we have Nuremberg. So what's that? Nuremberg maybe? Hamburg? And, you know, same thing. Little buildings with these massive things just popping out of nowhere. Huge spires. But yeah, surrounded by a different sized building. I mean, maybe they were for giants. I don't know. You know, and this is the thing, were these cities for us at all? Or were they just machines? And, you know, people were living around the outsides, growing their food, living in nature. Got some guys here, they got their grapes, they're nice and happy. And of course, up on the hill, familiar sight, castle on the hill, looking a little buried. And then down here we have another one, castle in the valley. So, you know, the whole place completely built out. And this is, you know, they tell us about this, don't they, in what they call fairy tales. They tell us, oh, no, here's the story, but none of it was true. And all these places, all these built-out cities we see, you know, they're just like the fairy tales that we hear about. You know, fairy tales, you know, there's always kings, queens, princesses, you know, magicians, the old magi, you know, all the bits and pieces. They all live in these huge cities, but we're told that's just all fiction. You know, that's another word they invented, isn't it? Fiction. So we have all these stories, and they try and get us to believe that people wrote all these stories, these massive, long, intricate books, just for fun. Yeah, just for no reason at all, and they get people to believe that. But the truth is, humans don't do that. But these people, or these beings who are trying to control us, that's what they do. They're the actors. They're the ones who, you know, put facades on everything. And look at this city. Erfordia. Got a nice little Antiquitech tower out there by itself, but again, completely walled. And this is what we still see, this kind of circle kind of shape as the main city, and then it's normally got another branching bit coming off it, and bits around the outside. And this is the canal here. I'm pretty sure, is that a canal? Looks like it should be. It may be a road, but this shape, you know, I've been pointing out a lot. This kind of, it's almost like a sine wave, isn't it, I guess, when you look at it. And it tends to always cut the star cities in, not in half, but like a third off the top. So is that something else they've got to do? And just look at this. You know, all these, they're just so familiar, these funny shaped angles, spires, domes. You know, they've all got the same buildings. Look at this, all built up on a massive plateau, this big central thing. What was going on here? And of course a big crown on this one. Very nice. Fiat? U40 Fiat? I don't know. Something back, and that they love to change the names. And look at this. Okay, so this is like the one-headed Tartarian eagle. Now this as well, I've been seeing this symbol that's like this, but it's actually got a human head on it. So I'll show you those when I see them. I'm not sure if they're in this book, but I definitely have quite a few pics of it. What's this? Looks like an archery. You know, they go and do archery. What do they call it? Archery fields. Okay, here's just another map. Germans again. Here we have all our symbols. So we have, I think that's our eagle, Tartarian eagle. Again there, and then we have all our, you know, prancing lions, and these are all the different, not really tribes, but I guess factions, people. You know, they have, when we see these old pictures, they've always got on their shields, you know, they've got the eagles or the lions. That's defining who they are or who they're fighting for. All these different factions. And of course all these factions have been usurped. They're not who they say they are. Berlin. There we go. Huge city. And this is the thing. Look at this in the background. I mean, we have... Look at that spire there. How did they get this on the top? No cranes or anything, right? No machinery, no technology. That's what they tell us. Domes everywhere. So look at all this. Onion domes, walls, everything. Looking pretty mud flooded too, by the way. And then out here we just have these people, you know, shoveling hay onto these rickety wooden carts. You know, handmade wooden rakes. No tech at all. You know, so this is sort of their tech. They could build these wooden, you know, rakes and little carts, but they live here. Look at this city. It's a bit of a juxtaposition, isn't it? It's just, I mean, just look at that picture. That's just, and this is what they tell us in the fairy tales, right? Everyone was just living like this with no tech, but they happened to be living in castles, you know, with domes and walls and all the stuff. Whoa, look at that one. That is a nice star, looking very grid-like, very circuit boardish. This is Stettin, the villa capital of the Pomeranie Royale. And just in the background, look at these. This guy, you know, cathedrals and towers just popping out everywhere. Look at this one half buried, nothing on that hill. Unbelievable. And here we go. So this is a very sort of traditional star. You can see the whole star. They've got a crown here. I'm not sure what's going on here. That's a pretty interesting bit. And yeah, completely built out. Got all the symmetry we see everywhere. All these pointy roads, these sloping arches. And of course in the middle we have this massive oversized cathedral. You know, complete with antiquitech. Pretty much that's the holy hand grenade, really, isn't it? These balls we see on the top of the spires, and then they have a big cross. You know, if that cross was a bit smaller in proportion, then that would be, you know, what we call the holy hand grenades. Those little antiquitech-y balls. And out here you can see, you know, they've started to move out. You know, they're expanding. But look at this. I mean, it's just all... How do they build all this? It's ridiculous. Got our windmill. And of course this is, you know, this is what they can build, right? A wooden pole. That looks to be wooden. But all this is just masonry. So this is Stettin again. Didn't we just look at that? And there, look at that. Nice big star. And this is how they built. It was just, you know, it wasn't urban sprawl. You know, they kind of put their boundaries up first and then filled it in with what they needed. Here's another one of these poles. What's going on with these wooden... I mean, it looks like a maypole, doesn't it? This looking pretty flooded out down here. This isn't the best picture. It's sort of fading away a bit, but you can definitely see that very nice star there. Not sure what that is. Tunnel entrance. Got the water coming through as always. And it looks like this one, you know, it looks like they've built the wall, but they've left a bit of space, haven't completely filled it in yet. And I wonder if that's what they did. Did they sort of find the best energy places and kind of border them off? And again, were these, you know, were these cities for humans or were they just machines? Because humans seem to be happier in nature. I guess it depends how natural these cities were, how much nature was in them. And again, this is the same place. You can see massive, you know, just the engineering and the planning just to go in just to get this wall sorted out. It's just ridiculous. I mean, you'd be looking, you know, in today's time, you know, with civil engineers and things, you know, that would take them a decade just to get the wall sorted out. And that's, I'm talking designing it and getting, you know, the engineering right. That's before they start building it. Because the story we get is all these started as earthen mounds, and they basically built them up, and then at one point they decided to, I don't know, throw a few bricks and some mortar on them, and they magically turned into star cities. The Isle of Rugen. Not sure what this is. Rugen. Haven't really got any reference to where this is, sorry. What's down here? Pomera. Oh, Grifsewald. That's a cool name. Grifsewald. Here we have our anchor. So yeah, I don't know, that looks north. Looks like it's north, not sure where, but completely built out, wherever it is. Hopefully we'll get some more info on it. Here we have Stralsvundia. So Stralsvundia, look at this, another perfect, star city, and they're all different shapes. The walls, always different. So this is the thing, are they outlining a certain, energetic place? Vortex or something. And this is of course a massive port, and look at these cavaliers, these are called, these pointy bits, going out to the water and actually being turned into docks. So they've got docks coming out of them. Look at that. So was that how this was built, or has this been changed by, the usurpers? Look at this arrow. This is the way you go. And then look, it looks like there's another big part of the city up here. So this must be on that island that we just looked at. Stralsundi. The villa. La Villa, is that what they used to call cities? Villas? They've just changed it. I said, no, it's not the city. It's just that building. In the background, of course, stuff everywhere. But look, just look at this. Got all our crops and stuff out the front here. And again, this looks like, what's going on here? We've got sort of an edge wall here. It kind of stops. Don't know. It might be expanding. Again, it's not the best contrast, this book, but you can just see what kind of cities these were. I mean, so superior to what we have now. They knocked all this stuff over to build boxes and squares. Oh, look at this. Nice island. Island castle. Wow, that's a nice star. This is Gripswaldy. So as you can see, these literally every city was a star city. Here's another one, Bard. And you can see we've got our usual suspects, the big cathedrals everywhere. This seems to be round, which we don't see that often, but we've still got all the towers, the turrets, these, pointy roofs, fairy tale type roofs. Alright, now this is the Villa of Wismar. And look at this one. So here we have our five-sided citadel, what they called citadels. I'm not sure what they were originally, but that's what they've been called by the mainstream. Basically, a citadel is where everyone from the city runs when they're being attacked to be safe. So again, they just link everything with war, which it really had nothing to do with. And we see this so often in these maps where they show that, they don't show the buildings in these areas, but clearly they're built out. But what they do show is, the big buildings, the cathedrals and things. So why is that? Are they the power sources? Don't know. Well, kind of getting onto the idea that we do know. Look at this, Wismar. What's going on here? 10 minutes? Minutes? Oh, latitude, oh, of course, 33, right? Latitude 33 degrees. And this is the only city where they've told us the latitude, and it's 33 degrees. 50 minutes, longitude. There we go. Oh, okay, so this is in I-648. So not the 1700s, sorry, the 1600s. And that's clearly, it doesn't look like a 1. I-645, but this looks, what's going on? Is it not built out yet? Is it a plan? Because that's one really cool star. You know, it's got its port by the looks of it. Its canals are always connected, you know, with canal systems and water, and they seem to have all been connected to the oceans originally. So we're talking a seafaring civilization, but I think we're not talking about the Phoenicians. I think they may have stepped in and pretended to be the original civilization. This is Wiz Maria Wiz. Oh, this guy's had his head chopped in half. Got a bull ring. Oh, here he is. He's not looking too happy, is he? So crowned the bull. So that's interesting, isn't it? I've got the bull here, half the bull, and they've been merged. What has merged here? Oh, these dudes have got, oh, there you go. I guess this is why it's bulls. There's lots of bulls around, lots of horny bulls. You know, and look at this, dragging their fishing net. A couple of swans got their fishing poles, looking very mud flooded out. You know, where have all the trees gone? But again, you know, in the background, just this massive Antiquitech star city. Just craziness. Way, look at that one. So look at this. This looks, what's that? What's going on there? They're talking about Quarter General. What are all these lines? Is this like, you know, if they get here with their cannons, I reckon they can shoot these. Their cannonballs, and they can attack from there. Is this like their attack plan, do you think? Take out the outside cities and use them against them. Because this is an island. It's not even connected to anything, but it's still got its big Antiquitech buildings, which they don't seem to be aiming for. And here, what are they shooting here? I guess that's the closest point, is it? But yeah, is that like a... So Ratsburg. Or is it Rasberg now? So we've got the... basically latitude, longitude, I-693. But yeah, that looks like some kind of attack map. And here we have the lion, the Phoenician, with her one arrow. She hasn't got the bunch of arrows there. Lüneburg. And again, just a map of Germany. Oh, what happened there? Here we go. Lüneburgum. And that's a Latin letter, that one, isn't it? Lüneburgum, we've got our lion there. Lion's taken the gates. And look at this city. This one is pretty cool. Only seeing half of it. Completely laid out. And look at this nice big curved bit here. And they just build to the shape, don't they? It's like curved, okay, curved walls. Yeah, chuck some towers in there just to be on the safe side. Don't know what's going on here. Fountains. And this is Hildesia. And now we have the eagle, but it's lost its legs. Odysee, and look at that star. So again, some are very intricate, some are less intricate. Must be dependent on where they are. Maybe it's also dependent on the levels. Maybe, there's buried levels under these still. And they get sort of, as they layer up, you see more sort of intricacy. Because that could be at a lower level, not sure. But all these disconnected bits, but yeah. How did this all work? Definitely got something to do with the shape, the angles, the water, and all these huge, massive buildings we find everywhere. That seem to be machines. It's machines, man, but not as we know them. This guy is saying, yep, look, I've got, I don't know, my little Antiquitech tower. This guy's having a drink. Oh, maybe it's a big glass of beer. Maybe they're the brewers. Brunswick. Again, all with this facading, the stamping, the branding of who's there. It's always seems to be double crowns a lot, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, I've got King Queen, but who knows? And of course, the shepherd's crook. Right, because they're the shepherds looking after us sheep. Or so they think. Way, here we go. Bremer. Bremer. So, Bremer is... what was that story? The Bremen 5, was it? That story by the Grimm brothers. The Grimm Brothers Grimm. The Bremen 5, about that band. Yeah. So there we go. That was in Bremen. And again, fairy tales, right? That's what they tell us. How true are all these, stories, from the Brothers Grimm? Because they actually went around, and with their stories, the Brothers Grimm, they actually went around and asked people and got old stories. They didn't actually write them all. And look at this, you can see the outer wall on this too, out here. And the inner wall, the inner workings, the inner machine. And, they have all this space here, but everything else is just built in. Of course, we've always got our island in the stream. Thanks, Kenny and Dolly. Look at this. Ooh. And just this bit just looks like it's just should be part of something much bigger, doesn't it? It's just weird how they do this. And I mean, I guess you could probably work out the maths. It probably works out perfectly. To join this. And up here, probably, And that's the thing, how do you design and create something like this? How do you even, this is a massive, massive project. Well, you see these projects that they build, like the Olympics, huge projects where they're going out and they're building, stadiums and villages and all this stuff. And it takes them, ages. Decade or so. What do they get? 2 or 3 Olympics ahead notice? And what they build is, literally something smaller than just this. And look at the size of these. So a lot of effort and resource and thinking and everything went into these. They didn't just pop up all over the world in the 1700s as we're told. And wow, look at that one. This is like a double island. And again, looking found, because that looks like a wooden bridge connecting them. Look at that. Okay, that's the gardens. Oh, look at that. It's completely enclosed by a building. And look at the shape of the building. And then just geometry everywhere. Gardens. So this looks like more of a growing region, doesn't it? Some of them look, like this. This is quite clearly looks more like what we would think of as a city with housing and stuff. And the big Antiquitechs. A bit of farming at the front, but this one over here looks like it's, no housing. Just big Antiquitech stuff, geometry, and then just maybe food production. Look at this. Is this geometry? Does this somehow You know, help food grow bigger, faster, better, who knows? Is it, you know, is it energetically charging it, you know, with fractal shapes, basically, because obviously, you know, shapes are vibration and they match up with, you know, music. So it's all, you know, vibration. What's going on? Because, see, they're all different shapes. They're for different crops. So this is lead. Another one. So again, like everywhere you look, back in the 1600s, stars. Everywhere. Here's another one. This one, I don't know, is that built yet? We don't know. Maybe buried. Just everywhere. And just a random cathedral by itself. Carlsberg. And this is another word, you know, all these words that, like berg, it's everywhere, right? Of course, they change the spelling. Now it's normally B-U-R-G-H-E. Berg, you know, there's so many cities with the name Berg. And when you look at cities, why do they name cities in different countries? They go and discover new lands, or rediscover, apparently, and they rename them after the cities they came from. You know, it's like, how many news do we have? New Zealand. We used to have New Amsterdam, New Caledonia, New South Wales. And then obviously Nova means new, like Nova Scotia, which is New Scotland. So it's all this sort of rebranding, or is it actually taking the branding back to where it originally started, maybe? These people have the key. And of course, the key has a lot to do with this little cross here. And an upside down, that's the shape, right? That we see in the cathedrals. So this is starter. Someone's going to start a war with them. Yeah, so this is this is one of the more rounded looking ones, rather than the sort of pointy stars. So I'm not sure how they choose which one's rounded and pointy. Again, is that to do with where they're positioned and the energy, or is it to do with their function? Because all this geometry seems to have a lot to do with everything. This is the Riviera de l'Elbe, or the Elbe River, I guess. Lunenburgensens. What? So again, Berg. Episcopatus Bremen. So look at this. Look at all these islands. Just everywhere. What is going on there? Big, massive star fort here. Hamburg. And of course, you know, villages, not villages, cities, star cities everywhere. Here's another one. So yeah, 1600s completely built out, and just with better stuff than we got today. And they tell us that the past, you know, everything was worse, but we know that story's reversed. Because look at this. This is how you build. Out of the box, right? Out of the box. They just want to build boxes for us. And here's a citadel out by itself. What is that? You know, so that's the thing. Like these are drawings. Obviously, they're found, and they're mapping what they've found. And you've got all this nice antiquity, and then they come along and they draw a hangman's, whatever these are called, a hangman's hanging device. You know, so they're sort of showing they're going in and they're just killing everyone. Hamburg. Now it's Hamburg, right? The Borg. It's the Borg. But look at this, Hamburg. But when you come up here, it said, didn't it say Hamburg somewhere? But when you come back and have a look at this, look, we've got there's that Hamburg. That's almost a C. Got Hamburg. And then here they're turning to the Borg, Hamburg. You know, so they love to change the spelling of the words to confuse us. And then Hamburg with a U, look at that. So what's going on? 3 maps in the same book concurrently all spell Hamburg differently. I mean, come on. It's clearly the same place. Here's our satellite stars and things. And yeah, look how built out this is. Look at this, looking very like the Vatican, you know, these big cathedrals in the centre with these curved walls around. I can't see the boulevards. Normally you have long boulevards coming off them. But yeah, completely built out. Angles everywhere. Geometry. Big star fort, Hamburg. And here's a pic, and look, now our eagle has sprung ahead. So now we've got 2 heads on the eagle and only 1 crown. What's going on there? And of course this eagle we see in the USA Today, but with 1 head, 1-headed eagle, and it's got, you know, the arrows in 1 paw, and the other one is, oh gosh, what is it? It's feathers or something, isn't it? But yeah, basically the same symbol. They've just changed it a bit. And this is Hamburg, St. Michael's. Look at the size. Look at the size of that compared to these. Mullen Thor. St. What? Michaelis. What are they? Are they both St. Michael's? What's that? Alt. Don't know. The guy, St. Nicholas, St. Catherine, St. Johannes, St. Petri, my God, and Der Thumb. Don't know who Der Thumb is. And it looks like they've taken over the castle, the gates are open, and they've shoved their flags into this dude's head. So yeah, I mean, all these books, you know, the more you look into them, the more they're starting to look a bit sort of propaganda-ish, really just telling us a story, trying to sort of show us, you know, the past and trying to claim that it was theirs, but they leave all these clues everywhere that, you know, people drawing these are actually the usurpers who have taken over. They're not the people who created all of this. No, another one, just everywhere. And look at this name, Monasterium. Monastery. And of course I did a video on some religious artifacts that are called monstrums. So yeah, Monasterium, monastery, monstrums. This whole mons sort of sound is also in a lot of words. Oh look, they've got some pretend cannons there for us. So they can, I mean, I don't reckon that. Do you reckon that could even clear this wall? I mean, seriously. Got a 33. You know, they're just there for show. What are cannonballs really? You know, I think we're coming to the conclusion that cannonballs actually have nothing to do at all with cannons. And cannons have nothing at all to do with, you know, shooting cannonballs or being any kind of weapon. It's just something completely different. Like everything like this. This isn't a fort. This is a functioning city with antiquitech and everything, free energy. They've got to put their cannons everywhere because we're all about war. That's what they want us to think. They want us to think that we're vicious little animals. And this one's Brugg instead of Berg. They just changed the letters around. Brugg. Osnabrück. And what about the pictures? You know, how intricate are these pictures? How are they drawing these? Because look how far you can zoom in. Very nice. Citadel there. Completely built out city. Saint Ionis, I mean that's Jesus, isn't it? Saint Jesus. Ionis. Is that how you say it? That's yeah, for the I. When you see the I before the dates, it's either an I or J. It's Jesus or Iusa. Sorry, Iusa. What am I saying? What's that? I don't know. Joanne, Saint Joanne. I mean, you can just look at these forever. They're just so intricate. Look at this. What's that? You know, because clearly this is what was there. Someone's gone in and drawn everything in its place. And I might do a video where I overlay some of these, you know, just to show you that this. Now these aren't made up. These are maps of what was going on. And so this was what was going. You know, they were this built out. You know, imagine just building this, just this city, the whole city. Because clearly it was built as one design. You know, we're not talking they went in and built some houses and it sort of slowly expanded out. And that's not how this happened. This was designed as a full thing and built. You know, imagine how long and the effort and materials going into just this one city. And then when you realize there are thousands of these all over the earth, it's you know, the question just becomes how is it even possible? What kind of time frame are we looking at? What kind of tech are we looking at? And why? Why did they do it? You know, there's got to be a very good reason. These cities had to have been very useful, a very, you know, good way to live. Okay, here we go. Frisia Orientalis. Now, Frisia, of course, many of you have heard of Frisland, Frislandia, the island. It's also part of Denmark now, apparently, but that's basically just them, as far as I can tell, just, you know, renaming lands, you know, subverting our history, basically. These islands, I don't know if they're still there, but these are in a few maps I've seen. Just this big chain of islands. And we're talking, this is north here. They're calling this the German Ocean. And this is Frislandia. So top of Denmark is what they're showing us. And here we have, okay, so remember I was telling you that there was this, it suddenly got a human head and looked very strange. Well, here we go. It's got the Queen's head on it. So it's suddenly, it's not the eagle anymore. Oh, here we have one of these. Okay, 5 boobed women. Alright, Phoenicians have landed. Down here we've got a few pitchforks. Oh, big scythe. Looks like she's stabbing that dude in this bull in the back and he's not happy. Ah! The sheep, he's hiding, having a peek around. And I don't know what's going on there. That cherub doesn't seem to have a body. Is that a shell? Shells? So yeah, got the water theme in there. Frisia Orientalis. And here we go. So Emda, Volgo, Embden. I'm not sure what that is. Here we have that strange queen-headed eagle. It looks like a harpy is actually what that looks like. One crown, and of course this very nice star. Completely built out, of course. Even like, could have islands in the stream, all, bridges, arches. Just, built to precision. Okay, and it looks like we've come to the end of our book there, so hope you enjoyed that little one. And here's another picture of a star fort. Now this is Frisia. This is not part of that book, this is a different picture. Now over here again we get this strange harpy. Look at the tail on that, it's gone a bit strange. And across here again, the harpy. Harpy behind the wall. And then just this, very nice star city. So this is up in way north, Frislandia, but obviously not snowed in. You know, looking like a completely built out star city. Very nice one. Down here we have what are probably the Frisians. So I'm not sure what's going on there. This looks like a dude in a dress. But Frisia, that's a big story I want to get into. Frisia is also, it's related to the word friar. And, you know, if you're thinking of Friar Tuck and all these kind of, friars, religious people, so they say, again, it just lends to the story that they've stolen that name. Orientalis Frisia with a PH. And they do that a lot too, don't they? They change PHs for Fs. And this showing you that it's up here, still looks attached to the land, but obviously got lots of pictures, maps where this is an island. And on this one we have the double-headed Tartarian eagle. And the Pope's hat, it looks like someone's tried to kill the Pope with 2 axe swings, and they've just got the crown. Frisia. Antidoissima trans renum province regions description. So it doesn't really show us where it is. Military, Frisia. But basically, so that you can see again just how they change the spelling and the names. You know, it's like I always say, the names have been changed to protect the guilty. So there we go, just a bit of a walk through some star forts in Germany just to show you what was going on in the 1600s. You know, this is what was happening before, well, actually that 1600s we're talking after the deluge, I think, but that's what they rediscovered, that's what was still around. Some they obviously had to dig out, others they didn't. But the story we've been told about our past is completely fraudulent, and I mean, I think I pretty much just proved it in this one video. Let alone, all the other stuff that's out there. The evidence is just overwhelming that our past has been changed. You know, we've been taken over. The people who have taken over are basically actors. That's their power. That's their weapon. Is they just change the story, and as long as we believe what they say, then we're stuffed. So this is what the Great Awakening is, guys. It's to understand that it's all a facade. You know, the world is an illusion. How many people have said that? How many times has that been written down in theosophy and philosophy? You know, the world is an illusion. What you're looking at is not real, and that's because people are telling you a different story. So when you look out, it obscures your view. It makes you see something that's not really there. Because what was there was, not people living in the mud with no tech, scampering around trying to, eke out an existence, completely uneducated. That's what they want us to believe. But the truth is, these were, highly educated people in a highly civilized society, free energy, master craftsmen, master architects, master masons, traveling all over the world harmoniously, and then something's happened, some natural disasters, and the usurpers have basically taken advantage of that and then taken over, the good civilization, basically just taken it over and pretended to be them. And here we find ourselves in 2020, and the story is, very quickly revealing itself. The Great Awakening is here, and it's time for us to realize that we are the power, that the story they tell us is his story, and our story is much, much grander, and it's time we took it back, and the world that went along with it. Alright guys, so hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for spending some time with me. Have a fantabulous day, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.